Dawg Nation, we are here post-win in some dog-on-dog crime in Starkville, Mississippi.
Yes,
Jacob, how are we feeling today?
any day that starts off with a Georgia win is always a good day. I love the noon kickoff. I think Georgia fans like it too, especially when they're not home. You know, starting your morning off with the Georgia win, it can't get any better than that. It's a great start to the weekend. And now I'm not like we were just talking about before started hit record. I'm hoping for a Missouri win and an LSU win, so we got a chance in that SEC. So fingers crossed. I'm hoping they do what they got to do, and I'm excited to watch some more football.
Yeah, and after we'll talk some rapid reactions to the game that just went down in
For sure.
Starkville, and at the end we might talk a little bit about some potential scenarios that could go down with some wins or losses and what we're looking for personally. But let's talk about the game today.
Yep.
Georgia beats Mississippi State 41-21 on the road in a statement win. Georgia opened up as a 4.5 point, or Georgia closed as a 4.5 point favorite as we were about to kick off, and typical Georgia, we gave up a touchdown on the first drive with just letting the Georgia first half juices flow. We gave up a touchdown, but after that it was all dogs, Georgia dogs. It was all dogs, and it was a dominant performance. What were your thoughts on the overall performance from the team before we get into some specific guys?
Honestly, I loved the offensive attack. We
Mm-hmm.
owned the line of scrimmage. As you spoke about, Nate Frazier finished with 181 yards, having clearly his best game of the season. And I know he had been going through some stuff. You know, fans were coming after him early in the season with the fumbling issues he had had. And a game like this kind of, puts all that stuff to bed. You know, we're going to start hearing those bandwagon fans kind of hop back on Nate's side after a game like this, but I love seeing how he ran the ball. He was hitting the gap. He was hitting the hole. I know Noshawn had talked about that last week with Chauncey, with them, finding the gaps, finding the reads and going, not patterning their feet
Mm-hmm.
and just hitting it. And Nate did that all day. Big kudos to the O-line who owned
Mm-hmm.
the line of scrimmage the entire game. We could run the ball when we needed to. When we needed pass protection, they handled it perfectly. Love that from the O-line. And then finally, to shut some more people up, we had 2 sacks on the day.
Yeah, three
Three
total,
sacks. Actually, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Excuse me.
three
Three
total.
sacks on the day. 3 sacks on the day. Gabe Harris had one that forced a fumble. Uh, Raylan had 1.5, 2,
He
and
had one
then
and a half. Yeah.
CJ picked up on that half sack with Raylan. But the game looked really good. The defense dominated. We had a few mistakes here and there, but for the most part, it was a clean game throughout. We dominated throughout the entire game. I loved it.
Yeah, that was my number one takeaway. Obviously, not a stat that's going to jump out at you, but my number one takeaway was the offensive line looked put
Yeah.
together, looked really good, looked very dominant. When you would watch the replays of some of these runs, you would see just the Red Sea part on a lot of these plays. It was really, really inspiring to watch, especially because of the turmoil we've had at the position.
Yeah.
Like, just different lineups every week. It was so nice to see the team come together and put together a really, really solid game, and just a solid game of film of offensive line play. I was really, really, like I said, inspired by what went down during the game, and it gave me a lot of hope for the next 2 months of the season,
Yep.
hopefully, especially coming in and playing against a very talented defensive line like Texas. I really like seeing us just get going and get where we need to be. But the offensive line obviously paved the way for Nate Frazier to have his game of the year. Probably efficiency wise, the best game of his career.
Yeah.
12 carries, 181 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging almost 16 yards a play. Had one that he broke for 59 yards and a touchdown. Had a 31-yard run.
Yep.
My favorite thing about Nate in this game, and you can touch on this as well, was the criticism. You kind of said this. The criticism has been the dancing, right? Like, he loves
Yeah.
to dance in the backfield and make somebody miss, which, like, in some instances it's warranted. But today I really, really felt he did a fantastic job of getting north-south,
For
which is
sure.
something that I'm sure Kirby in the running back room has been just kind of like, hey Nate, we need to be moving this way, not this way. And I think he did a fantastic job of that today. I love this was my favorite Nate game of his career by far.
Yeah, for
I,
sure.
I
For the
was
most
I
part. No doubt.
loved watching him today. It felt like a true Georgia running back game where we just handed the ball off, Didn't need to do it 38 times. Handed the ball off 12 times to Nate. He played fantastic. What are your thoughts on him getting north-south and his play going forward?
Like I said, I thought he hit the gaps all day perfectly. He hit him at full speed. He wasn't hesitating. Honestly, some of my favorite runs from him coming from a former running back weren't even his biggest runs. I saw one run where he had like four dudes on him. Like, okay, he's about to go down for five. And then they drove, the O-line included, drove for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first down. And then you see him get up yelling and like that's Georgia personified. That when we do that type of stuff on Bloody Tuesdays and when we're talking about inside run period and team run period and all that stuff, that's literally the entire period. That's all it looks like. It looks like dudes putting helmets together, hard hitting, and we got to move a man against his will. And that's what I saw from the Georgia offensive line. Nate, Chauncey, even Josh McCray when he got in late. Dwight Phillips, we saw some carries from
Mhm.
too. It
Bo
just
looked good too. Don't forget about Bo Walker.
yeah,
Bo
you're
had
right.
some
You're
good
right. Bo
carries at the
Walker,
end
Bo
there.
Walker, the freshman Bo, Big Bo got in there, or I guess Little Bo. Big Bo's the offensive
Big Bo,
lineman,
yeah.
but Little Bo got in there, did his job. But no, I loved it. I loved how the offense looked. Gunner had a very stable game. Very
Yep,
steady, no mistakes. We had the big touchdown to Noah Thomas, who had a big
yep,
game. He's coming in for her Kobe Young. He's been doing really
yep.
good. We had the touchdown to Oscar, who also had a really good game. Kind of honestly, low key, sneakingly his best game, I would argue,
Hmm.
Oscar. And then finally the touchdown to Zach Branch on another screen that he takes to the house. So the offense looked good. Coach Bobo was calling some plays. I really have no complaints from this game, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, no, we'll get. I have one gripe, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh,
Um, but it's nothing major. It's nothing major. It's just
okay.
one of those things.
You wanted to see
Just
black
because.
uniforms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just want to see the blackout. I just want to see the blackout.
Right, right, right.
Um, no, but the offense looked hungry today, and I think
No,
we
for sure.
can. I know we've had the sample size now, and we're now 9 games in, 10 games into his starting career, but I know there were still people who had questions about Gunner. Still, and rightfully so. He's starting. I mean, he's 10th game starting in college football. Like, I understand why people who watch the stat sheet are like he's not throwing for a ton of yards. I think we know now what we can expect from Gunner, which is cool, calm, and collective every game. It is the unwillingness to put the ball in harm's way that
Mhm.
I love the most about Gunner. He protects the ball so well, and he might have the one or two throws during the game, but that's it. It's not like he's throwing 6 balls, 7 balls, 8 balls into double coverage into trouble that could get tipped, it could get
Right.
picked off. Like he has those one or two throws where he's trying to fit in a tight window and maybe he doesn't hit his spot, which is gonna happen to every
Yeah.
quarterback. But I've really enjoyed seeing him protect the ball this season. And I think he's done a really good job. Again, another just really solid Gunner Stockton game. 18 for 29, 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. Added 31 on the ground. Just very, very solid. Um, when it comes to Gunner for Heisman, because I know people are like, I know it's you're on the train, obviously.
I'm on the train. I've been driving the train.
They're the
I ain't on
conductor. You're
the,
the
I've
conductor.
been
You're the
driving the
conductor.
train since Austin P. So nah,
That's true.
I'm pulling the horn.
That's real. Do you think he can win the Heisman? This is just a fun hypothetical. Do you
Yeah, yeah.
think he can win the Heisman with repeats of this kind of performance? Or do you think he's going to need another? Because he had one earlier in the season, but everybody knows the Heisman is about what are you doing in November?
Right.
It's not about what you did in August and September. It's what are you doing in November?
For sure.
Um, do you think he can win the Heisman repeating kind of these low attempt, like 250 to 275 yard, 2 to 3 touchdown passing games? Do you think he can win the Heisman like that, or is he going to need one of those 5, 6 touchdown games to push him over the edge?
Honestly, I think it depends on how the other Heisman quarterbacks play. Like Fernando Mendoza today played a solid game. He threw a pick, but
He up until that last drive, it was a bad game.
I
Up
would
until
say
the
up
last
until the
drive, it was
last
not
drive,
good.
stat wise, if you look at it, it looks like okay, he did what they had to do to win, but that really wasn't a Heisman performance against a Penn State team that was supposed to be seen as, less than. So in my opinion, you know what I mean? Like, I'm clearly biased. I'm going to accept my bias. I'm not even going to try
Hmm.
to hide it. But you can't fight production. We're winning. He's leading these wins. He's playing good. Like you said, he's not putting the ball in harm's way. He's using his feet. He's putting, when the ball needs to be put in a spot, when it's game time, he's making all the throws. And I feel like that should go into Heisman consideration. I mean, when it comes down to the best player. Gunnar has been one of the best players on one of the best teams all
Hmm.
season. He hasn't made any mistakes. He has not had any risky plays. You could not argue that anything he's done has been a threat to us or a harm to us at any point during the season. So
Hmm.
when it comes to the Gunnar Heisman train, it for me it just comes to at the end of the day, he's winning, he's playing well. It might not look as flat, he might not be hurdling dudes and throwing for 60 touchdowns. But then as we're seeing in this age of college football, that's not really sustainable. We're seeing a lot of
Right.
quarterbacks or even offenses have these flashes in the pants for a little bit. Everybody gets super big up on them and then they can't hold it for an entire season. Where Gunnar has been like this the entire season. No matter
Yep.
what people have said, boosting him or degrading him, he's just been
I would argue it's like this.
it.
Like it's not fun.
Real talk, real talk, real talk,
It's
real
like
talk. He's
it's
been
like
doing this.
this.
Right,
Not
fair.
none of this. None of this. He hasn't had
Yeah,
this
I ain't
game.
seen a drop. I ain't seen a drop
No.
since.
Like
So
every quarterback has had one of those games. Like Ty Simpson opened with one of those
for
games.
sure,
Fernando just had kind of one of those games. Julian Sand kind of opened with one of those games. Gunner's just been riding the wave,
heavily.
just riding it up. But
So and then heading into a big game like Texas this week, where I'm fingers crossed, and I'm gonna call it out. I know they say SEC bias. I'm hoping College Game Day doesn't choke. We have to be it. If it's not
I
Alabama,
can't
Oklahoma,
imagine it's not.
Alabama, Oklahoma.
No, it should that shouldn't be over Georgia Texas, I don't
I hope,
think.
I
I mean,
hope, I hope we're right. I hope we're right. If game day comes and Gunnar has a similar showing to what he did versus Ole Miss last time game day came, I think this game, I think we could be starting to look at a real, Georgia Heisman.
yeah, yeah. If he has a performance, I'll say in this game against Texas, against a very very good defense in a
Yep.
very very hot team, which we will talk about next week. Tune in for our stadium show next week before the Texas game. But if he has a performance like like a performance against this team, his odds are going to shoot.
No,
But
sure.
let's talk about some of the receivers really quick, and then we'll move over to the defensive side. Noah Thomas had his breakout game
Yep.
um, for the Dogs. 3 catches, 78 yards, and that long touchdown. Um, I said at the beginning of this game, I was watching with a couple buddies. I said at the beginning of this game, we really need Noah to step up
Yeah.
because we know what Zach is. Zach is obviously phenomenal playmaker, like just absolutely been our, besides Gunner, if I'm not going to say Gunner, he's been our MVP this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Um,
No doubt.
and so with Colby going out, we need somebody to step up and take that role of that big body jump ball. Like, who can we go to when Zach is inevitably double covered? And
Right.
Dylan's been that guy too, but we need like that big body who's going to be able to be the fallback option. And I know it was only 3 catches, but I really like seeing him get involved and him being productive, especially heading into a game like Texas. But he and Zach combined for 11 catches, over 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, um, what are your thoughts on the receiving core going into this next game against some very good DBs at Texas?
It's no secret that obviously this offseason, receiving, not even just receiving, but the receivers were a big focus. We
Hmm.
went in the portal and were able to snag up 2 receiver 1s at their school, Noah Thomas and Zach Branch. And obviously, we've seen Zach ball all season. Noah got off to a slower start. As Coach Kirby said, some opportunities they had just missed him. But with the Colby Young injury, as unfortunate as it is, we've seen Noah get a chance to shine, and he's definitely taken advantage of it. In this game, we even saw some of his speed. I know we talked about his jump ball ability, but on that run, that's straight yak ability and
Yeah.
speed, where he was able to break away from the defense, kind of dipping, cut through lanes and all that stuff, and then finally get to the end zone. So that's 2 back-to-back weeks with the touchdown for him. So I'm excited to see what he can do the rest of the season. Like I said, he was a wide receiver 1 at Texas A&M, who is now
Hmm.
the number 2 team in the country, or number 3 team in the
Three.
country right now. So Noah Thomas is the real deal. So I have no doubt or no worry about him being able to, step up and, fill in the shoes of a Colby Young. I think, he's gonna do his own thing. And I have no worries about that. I think he's gonna ball. And then mix that with Zach, who's been a freak all year, plus Dylan, plus London, plus anybody, Elias had that crazy catch today, the 6'7"
Unbelievable.
monster. So I mean, and then Oscar had a great game. Hopefully Lucky's doing all right. That he took a pretty bad hit, but for the most part, we got the weapons we need to be a national championship team. And I don't know too many other teams out there in the country that could say they can match our weapons that we have.
I think it's Ohio State and that's it.
Really,
I don't think there's anybody
that's
that
my limit.
can. I don't
And
think there's
then
anybody that can match our talent on the outside besides
and
Ohio State with Carnell Tate
Carnell
and
and Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah
Yep.
Smith. Yeah,
And then to answer your question about us going up against the Texas defense, um, I'm gonna try not to give any bulletin board material, but I'm very passionate about my boys, so I'm very confident. I believe in them wholeheartedly. But physicality is where it matters in this game.
hmm
There's no doubt about that. This game is played, at the line of scrimmage, and 2 times last year they couldn't handle it. I'm gonna just be straight up with you. They
yep.
couldn't handle Jalen Walker and all them dudes being down on him. And this year it's C.J. Allen and Quintavious Johnson, as we saw, be a force today. It's
He
aggressive.
popped that quarterback.
Yeah, I'm about
He
to say
popped
game
that
error
kid.
is not like, oh my god. If I'm Texas and I'm Arch Manning and I saw how they were hitting Blake Shapen today, I'm scared and I'm telling my O-line, hey, that can't happen next week because them dudes are hitting. And
Yeah,
I'm not on the team, so I can say this. They don't like to be hit. Texas does not like to be hit. So if we stick to
right.
that same physical mentality where, hey, we're putting our head down and we're putting it through your chest and we're going to see what happens, I don't see them boys keeping up, especially at a 7:30 night game in Sanford Stadium. It's
It's
going
gonna
to
be
be
loud.
first time Texas has touched Athens. I know we're going to make them feel it up in the stadium, and they definitely going to feel it on them pads too.
Yeah, I think touching on the receivers really quick, and then I'll jump to that last point. It's just about stacking results.
Yep.
As Kirby says, it's just about stacking results. Noah's stacking up on everything that he's done through the season. It's just getting better and better. Zach is averaging like 10 catches a game. It's just Zach being Zach. So
Yeah, I'm about to
I'm
say,
really
well,
looking
now
forward to.
for some reason now we're a passing offense.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
We
we're
look
an air
super
raid.
efficient. We look super efficient. I know the recruits gotta love seeing this. Jared Curtis and all them dudes we got coming. Yeah,
And
yeah.
they like seeing this. Not only that, they're like, yeah, we're a passing offense now. But then you look at
Mm-hmm.
Nate Frazier, 12
Still
carries,
toting the
101
ball
yards,
back.
still toting the ball, still
Coach
had
Bobo has been killing it these last
303
couple games.
team with 303 team rush yards. So
Yep.
even when we're whipping the ball down the field, we're still running it down their throats.
Yep.
But I'm really looking forward to this Texas game. I don't want to jump around too much. We'll get back
No,
to
you're
the
good.
defense versus Mississippi State in a second, but I'm really looking forward to this Texas game because it's truly like a clash of the Titans. Like Georgia's defense is getting hot. They're
Yeah.
rolling. They're getting better. Georgia's weapons are getting comfortable. Georgia's offensive line is settling down. We're getting better. We're getting good. Coming home, fifth ranked team in the country. Like the wheels are rolling for Georgia. And then you look at the other side. Texas just beat a top five or a top six Oklahoma a few weeks ago.
Yep.
They're starting to roll. They're starting to get Arch Manning's starting to get comfortable. Like they're starting to really show their true colors, show their talent. So this is really two trains that are on a collision course in mid-November for a playoff spot, probably on the line
Yeah.
for whichever team wins. And it's do or die for Texas. This is do or die for Texas more than
Yeah. Yeah.
likely. Because you have to beat one of Georgia or A&M if you want to get in. If you lose to Georgia, back against the wall against Texas A&M,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun show. But I'm really looking forward to the clash that these two teams are about to have from a national media perspective, from a Georgia media perspective. I hope we beat the brakes off of them. But from like an outsider, like I'm really excited for this matchup. But before we shift too far off, let's talk about the defense really quick. Raylan Wilson was phenomenal. Again, we talked about him after week one potentially being like one of the guys that like one of the true guys this year that are going to be
Yeah.
a difference maker and a havoc creator,
Yeah.
like wrecking havoc on offenses. 6 tackles, a sack and a half, and a TFL and a half today. Had a phenomenal game. I just love watching the tenacity he plays with. But another thing I was really happy watching, which I don't know if it's going to show up on the stat sheet. Like I haven't deep dove into the stat sheet yet, but CJ Allen in the horizontal game was
Beautiful.
so good
No,
today.
he's elite. He's elite.
So good.
Every time.
And he's been so good this season, and it's not something that always shows up on the stat sheet because it's a contained play most of the time where he's keeping them inside, forcing
Shadow.
them to the inside linebackers. And I mean, his horizontal play today was awesome, and they compared him to Roquan on the broadcast today, which I don't love comparing people to Roquan because I think Roquan is one of the best college linebackers ever. Like that's a tall task to be a Roquan, but CJ was showing flashes
There's a
today. He
lot of
was
there's a
looking
lot of similarities.
he
Uh,
was
wha-
he
Go
looked
ahead.
very good today, and that's just something I felt myself saying, "Great contain, CJ." Like I felt myself jumping up and being like,
As a
great
coach.
contain," multiple times, which I was happy to see.
Um, One thing I'll add to that, like you said, CJ's been doing that all season. In the game
Yeah,
last week versus Florida, I know there was one play in the red zone. I don't even know if you could clip these together, but there was one play in the red zone where Lagway had, rolled out left. And I low-key thought that he was about to score. I was like, oh, he's got the angle. And CJ kind of shot through the gap. He was moving
yep,
horizontally and he tackled him, got him around his kneecaps and brought him down. And then he did that same thing today. And I was like, man, this is what he's been doing all season. And as a runner, that is the hardest thing because usually,
yeah,
you're looking for them linebackers to crash immediately. They run into
right,
some old linemen, they run straight into the wrong gap, and you shoot it. But when that guy is kind of sitting there with you, and as you look through it, gap A, he's right there. When you try to go to B, he's there. It's like at some point you got to make a decision, and he's making it for you. And CJ's been doing that all season, and then mixing that with Raylan, as you spoke about his tenacity and how aggressive they both play. But that aggression is mixed with IQ.
right.
It's calculated. Everything they do feels perfect. Coach Schumann has them two dudes leading the defense at a phenomenal rate, and it looks great. And like you said, it's coming together at a perfect time in the season.
Yeah, I'm literally getting chills thinking about it right now. Like I'm there's something about this team that's just different. It's
Right.
and I don't know if you're comfortable saying this, but I'm in a position where I'm comfortable saying this is not the most talented team we've had, like from top to bottom roster wise. Like this is not our like we don't have like 5 first round picks sitting on the defensive side of the ball right now. Like we don't have like the Jalen's, the Michael, the Malachis. Like we have a group of guys that are, I think, going to get to that point where they're going to be NFL players. We have multiple NFL players on the defensive
Right.
side of the ball. Don't get me wrong, but like it's a group of guys that is playing for it feels like they're playing for something bigger. And I'm not trying to be cheesy, but like
Nah.
they feel like a unit that's closer than they're not just playing for the stats and they're not just playing to boost their stock. Like they're playing for one another. And this team has really, really, really I said it earlier, inspired me, and I've loved watching them. And I read something about this earlier. I think Kirby kind of feels similarly, where he like loves this team because of their mentality and their effort, not necessarily their talent in production. And I know you were in the locker room just last year with some of these guys, so you can speak to some of that.
I'll say this. In a way, this is one of the most Georgia football teams Georgia has had. In a sense of that true culture that is, praised and that comes from that locker room and that facility. This is everything Coach Kirby talked about: connection, resiliency, toughness, composure, with all
Fire,
the
passion, energy.
all fire, passion, all the pillars of Georgia football that are implanted in our brain as soon as we walk through those doors at the Buttsmere. This is what that team exemplifies. They play together. They love each other. You can see it on the field. You can see it when they mess up. There's not really pointing fingers. It's immediate dudes picking each other's heads up. Pick your head up. Pick your chin up. They're playing for each other. It's great to see. And honestly, to your point, the mock drafts and all like those Heisman rankings and Butkus and Bolitnikovs and all like those top position ranking awards might not pick a lot of Georgia players this year. But when that national championship's in Miami, we might be picking it up this year. So that's all I'm gonna say. So at the end of the day, I think we
Mm.
might be picking the right trophy. They might not pick us, but we gonna pick them. And I feel like that, we saw that with Notre Dame last year, who beat us. They had a team that wasn't the most talented on paper, going up against us. I believe it was
Penn
Penn
State,
State. Yeah, Penn State and then Ohio State.
Indiana in the first
But they
round.
just played great team football. Nobody could
Yeah.
stop. They played together. They played perfect. Everybody knew their role. and that's kind of similar to this Georgia team. So I'm excited to see what we could do.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm really loving this team right now, as we just talked about for a few minutes. And if you're a Georgia fan and you're a little disappointed in some of the results that we've had this year, and you look at some of these close games that we've had, and our, I don't want to say inability to pull away, but you view it as that, I would just look at it like winning ugly is not necessarily a bad thing. The
Right.
best teams, every national championship team and Super Bowl champion and NBA champion knows how to win ugly. If
Yep.
you can win ugly, you can win any game. It's the
Yep.
teams that aren't in those situations that sit there and blow teams out all year that get in a spot where they're not comfortable
And now they don't know
that
what to
end up
do.
faltering. Georgia's not going to have that problem because we've been
Nope.
battle tested. Kirby knows it. We were battle tested in the offseason. Obviously, Kirby prepares you for moments like this, but
Yeah.
nothing prepares you like the moment. Um, but like this team is prepared to go to war and prepared to fight tooth and nail to the very end for a 6-3 victory.
No, for
Like
sure.
that's the kind of team that this is, and so don't be surprised if some of these teams that have been blowing teams out all year get in that position and get uncomfortable, and Georgia's sitting there cool, calm, and collective because they've been
No
there time
stress.
and time again.
Composure, like I
So
said.
a win's a win.
Yep.
Like a win's a win. So um, that's the kind of camp I'm in. Really quickly, I know we've been talking ultra positive, which I'm loving, but I do want to hit two things really quick. That are questionable. I don't want to say bad things, but are questionable.
For sure.
Um, we saw a couple times they didn't necessarily hit the plays. They actually missed them almost every time. But they got over the top of the Georgia defense again. Like a couple times, which is something that I know we've been struggling with. We got beat over the top a couple times by Tennessee, over the top a couple times by Alabama. Like it's something that I know we've been working on. But I noticed that as soon as we started getting hits on the quarterback, those passes either got further and further. He got scared. He got more scared to get hit and was
Missed.
significantly thrown off his rhythm by that. So that's something that
Right.
I viewed as a positive. Do you have anything that you have on that?
Like one, like you said, when the pressures got there, those kind of stopped. In my opinion, I saw it a little bit. I saw it how you saw, but I saw it a little bit differently. In some cases, it almost looked like they were just like you can throw the
Just
ball
ripping
deep.
it.
Yeah, but I said,
Yeah,
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 you could
yeah,
just rip it deep. But for most cases, there was one where there was a PI. There was a blatant PI.
yeah. KJ knew he was about to get
Yeah,
dusted and
and
was
we
like, "Let me just grab the
I
hip."
say Anthony Evans played here, and I was even telling my girlfriend Serena when she was watching, I was like, yeah, no, we need to grab him early because if he gets
Yeah,
running full speed, it's gonna be a long day because he's one of the fastest dudes in the SEC, and then they got Thompson, who probably is the fastest dude in the SEC. So they were trying to get it deep, but from what I saw, it didn't really work. Besides for the PI, which is clearly, we withheld him. The other ones, they're just ripping it deep. If you want to rip it deep
yeah,
and just see how long your quarterback can throw it, that's cool, but it didn't really
yeah.
work. So in this game specifically, I would be like, that's uh I don't know if I could
Nitpicking.
judge it
It's
yet.
definitely nitpicking because this game
Yeah.
was
No, for sure,
fantastic
for
from
sure.
all sides. Um, I think I truly think I remember us getting beat, including the PI, maybe three times, maybe twice or three times where he just like there. I know one where he just missed him, like he was
Right.
open and just missed him. Um, but I think that's due to the pressure. The other thing that I'm gonna nitpick a little bit, and this is super nitpicky, is the rushing quarterback. Like dealing with a quarterback
Yeah.
who can run, gave up 3 touchdowns on the ground to the quarterback. Obviously, he's a weird talent because like he was used situationally and like they pulled him, put him back in. One, that kid's gonna be really good. Number
Yeah, I
one,
like
I'll
him.
say that he's gonna be good. But just nitpicking, like I said, we've struggled with running quarterbacks in the past. We don't necessarily like CJ's quick and moves horizontal well, like we talked about, but he's not like the boom, like the flat, like the quick step linebacker, um, like an Akobe or like a Nolan almost, like where they got
Right.
that get off. Um, and so that's something I would keep in mind as we come into this stretch where we're going to play Arch Manning and Haynes King. Is those running quarterbacks have given Georgia problems in the past. So I'm very curious to see how Kirby adjusts and game plans for those. Do you have any thoughts on those?
Um Today, like you said, Kamario Taylor, he looks like he's gonna be the real deal in the future. Sorry, my computer low-key froze on me. I thought I lost you for a sec. But no, Kamari Taylor looks like he's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
a
Go
real
ahead, just say it again, and I'll cut it.
he's gonna be a real threat. He looked good this game. I do, we have struggled with running quarterbacks. I still have nightmares of Jalen Milrow running down the sideline on us a few times. But like I
Mhm.
said, I trust the preparation. I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be an easy task. It's definitely something we have to get accustomed to. It's something that Kirby Smart and these kind of Nick Saban defenses have always struggled with. It's always been a running quarterback to kind of give these defenses trouble. But there are ways to contain it. There are ways to get around it. And if you make quarterbacks one dimensional where all they're trying to do is run and you're not really worried about their throwing ability as much, that kind of helps, where you can drop a little bit more dudes into the box and you kind of trust your corners to, play man up on the outside. There's ways around it. So if we can, I'll say this, if we improve and we play good where we are good at it, we can kind of put some more emphasis and focus on where we might struggle at a little bit to make it, kind of minimize how much of an effect it really has on the game.
Yeah, I think whenever we're in a situation where we're playing a running quarterback, like a guy who's truly a dual threat, um, the key word, the key phrase for me always will be make him play quarterback.
Facts.
Make him throw the ball.
Yep.
Don't let him feel comfortable like, oh, if I can't throw it, let me just run it. Like make him throw the ball. Haynes King is a great athlete, but he's not like a pocket passer. He's
No.
not like a gun like he uses his dual threat ability very well because everybody's scared of the run. But make him throw the ball. Arch can throw the ball. So he's but we got to force him. We got to make him one dimensional. Um, but before we get out of here, I just want to talk really quick about the SEC championship scenario. I know we got a couple games to play and we don't want to look too far ahead, but we talked about this very, very briefly before we started recording. And this will be something that I want to see in the comments. I want to see what people think because there's two camps. Obviously, everybody wants to win. So
Well, no, yeah.
um, I'll I'll say there's two camps of people in terms of college football playoff. There's the camp that like you're in that wants LSU to lose or LSU to win, and you want Missouri to win, so you knock A&M and Alabama down a peg, and Georgia has a one-way ticket to the SEC championship. Even though I think if both of them lost, at least one of them would still need to
I
drop
think
another one
Texas
because
A&M might still be in. I think we might get Bam, maybe.
well, Bama would too because it would be Bama's first SEC loss. They lost an out of conference to Florida
Oh,
State.
damn.
So
All right, so
you
we need a couple more losses.
yeah, you need a couple losses. But A&M, I mean A&M plays Texas at the end of the year, so
Yeah.
no telling.
And the Iron
But
Bowl is never predictable.
never predictable. Especially with a new head coach, that's even
Facts.
less predictable. Um, but there's the camp that wants other teams around us to lose so that we play in the SEC championship game. And then there's the camp that I don't want to say I'm in, but I feel for like I understand more. Like let A&M and Alabama win out. Like let them just win their games, go play in the SEC championship, and guarantee us like a 4, 5, 6 seed. Like
Right.
guarantee us one of those. Guarantee us either a bye or a home playoff game. If we if the scenario somehow comes about where we somehow, I'm just gonna put it out there, knock on wood, we lose to Texas, right? We drop that game to Texas, which would be a quality loss, obviously. But we lose to Texas, and somehow we end up in the SEC championship game, and then we drop in the SEC championship game. We're a 10-3 team. We're not hosting a playoff game at that point.
Right.
If we made it to the SEC championship game and we played Alabama, let's say, and for whatever reason we got blown out, back-to-back losses to Alabama, there's a chance that we don't host a playoff game. So in my head, let everybody win out. Like we're guaranteed a home playoff game if everybody just
Yeah.
wins out. So just win out, host a home playoff game, beat the crap out of Memphis or whoever it is, or Virginia if they win the ACC, or Duke if they win the
Right.
ACC, and just hands off, hands clean, and then you get to go play the 4 seed. You don't have to play the 1 seed next. Like
Right.
you go play the 4 seed. So that's kind of my take on it. I know you said you're in the camp of you want to go win
I'll
that
say that
ring, win that SEC championship.
I agree. I don't disagree with your point at all. It makes complete sense. And I mean, honestly, that might even be part. I know Coach Kirby wants to win every game and have a chance to, win another SEC and, take the guys through that, experience and all that type of stuff. But there is probably a sense where he's like, hey, if we're looking at the smartest route, that might be the smartest route. Call me greedy. I want it all. I want it all. I
Uh,
want an
And
SEC
it's
ring.
understandable.
I want a national championship ring. I want to be able to, when the season is over, I want there to be no question marks about this team because I think they've earned it. I don't want people to question and be like, oh, they won the Natty, but then there's some SEC school next year talking about, well, they're not the champions of the SEC though. So I want every title we can possibly get at the end of this season.
You think we could get a ring for being on the sideline for all these games? You think we could
I'm
get a
gonna
ring?
fight for it. I ain't gonna lie. Hey, we got enough connections, Jack. I'm gonna see what Mr. Leland might got something for us. Even if
Leland,
we
it
just do
doesn't even
like
have
a,
to
even if
just
we just
give
get
us
like
like
a plaque.
I'll take a joint ring. I'll take a joint ring.
I'll take
We'll
a
share
plaque.
the ring.
I'll take a
Yeah,
plaque.
I'll take whatever.
I'll
But we
take
were
whatever.
there. We were through the lows. We were on the field
We've
for the
been there
Bama
every
game. We were
game,
in
every
the
time with them.
we've
We've been
been
there
there.
every time.
So
Hold on, listen.
so, I just a little sprinkling that in. But thank you guys so much for listening to our rapid reactions, which maybe we'll do some. Well, we're usually on the field, so maybe if we aren't on the field for the Tech game or the SEC championship, if we're there, we might do another one of these. But this is fun. This is good. We will be on the field on November 15th, this coming Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Texas is coming to Athens.
Yeah.
We are going to be all over your feed. We are going to be on Instagram at Georgia CFB, at the Players Lounge, at TPL Georgia, at Jack M. Wright.
At Jacob Hardy 23.
We will be all over your feed with some pregame content, who to look out for, some halftime content, postgame content, hopefully post Georgia win.
Hopefully some
And we
game
will
day
be,
content.
yeah, hopefully some game day content. ESPN, don't let us down. If you're a YouTube TV person, it's the only ESPN I'm gonna see because I'm a YouTube TV person. So that's the only game day I'll see is if I'm in person. So I will. I'm hoping for that, but make sure you check us out, like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know down below if you would rather win out or you would rather make that push for the SEC championship and have those teams above us lose. If you'd rather just skip the game altogether, or if you'd rather go straight to the SEC championship, let us know down below. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, I am Jack Wright.
I'm Jacob Hardy.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.